Didn't they have the concept of a gay bomb?
No, I don't know.
Dude, they did. They were going to drop it in the Middle East, and it was going to make everyone gay. Dude, just imagine doing it, and then the next second, I'm fucking, sucking you off, and you're yeah. And all our plans are destroyed because everyone's just gay for each other.
It'd probably be a beautiful week.
I just don't know. How the fuck do they have a bomb that turns you gay?
Is this real, or is this just...
I don't think they ever used it, so it's probably just a weird-ass thing that maybe makes you gay, but it probably just makes you, hypersexualized.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, because,
But after knowing all the shit that research they done, they probably do have a chemical that just turns you gay.
Dog, because, let's be honest, if you take enough ecstasy, you're going to have sex with a cantaloupe. If you can't. If you got a cantaloupe on hand, dude, you're gonna find a way to make love to it if you've had enough of that shit.
Probably.
If the mood's just right and no one else is around, and you're going into the back, the kitchen, say, because you're sweating and you're
that
thirsty.
scene from American Pie where he sees the freshly baked pie.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
And no one's home.
All right, guys, I want to start this episode out by giving our patrons and our subscribers a huge thank you. We've started growing our subscriber base again pretty quickly. I think I got 10 in the last couple of days. And to all our new patrons, welcome to the Patreon. We just hit our first goal of over $100 a month doing this thing. And I know I already made a thank you video and stuff about the whole thing, but guys, thank you so much. Johnny and I have both been working our asses off this last year. And it's nice just to see it finally taking off to a point. Hitting that $100 tells us yo, if we keep working at this, eventually we could make a living doing this and we can quit our jobs and start doing this full time. So after all this time, it's a huge milestone. On that thank you video I talked about when I first put my first piece of poetry up on Patreon. I had no idea what I was doing. At that time, I didn't even know I was going to do a podcast. And now here we are with, 650-something subscribers. We have 16 patrons. So, guys, thank you so much. This is just the beginning, too. And an announcement for those of you who didn't watch the thank you video. Johnny and I are going to be doing patron exclusive episodes now. We decided to do it a little sooner than our $200 goal. Our first episode is going to be over MK Ultra, and it's long lasting effects and the mainstream media and mass media, and its ties to Hollywood. And we watched the documentary, and I've been doing some other research on MK Ultra and stuff, and I think it's going to be a really good episode. So we're trying to get geared up for that and everything. If you guys want to watch that, that's going to be on the Patreon exclusive. And if you want to watch it, you can watch it for the $3 tier, so $3 a month, and you'll be able to access all of our Patreon exclusive episodes and all my poetry. And then if you want to go into the Patreon and go into the higher tiers too, that would help a lot. Just chugging along. Every new patron, every new subscriber makes a big difference. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like, share, tell your friends about us and all that. That's how we've started to grow organically like this. So really appreciate it, guys. But with that, let's jump into Entitled Millennials, episode number 34. So what do you think, Johnny? Let me take a peek at that there. Anything been on your mind this week? Anything you want to jump in on first? I know we kind of... right before this, you
saw Jesse Ventura said he's not going to run, which figures.
Yeah.
He always hypes that he's going to run and then fucking backs out. And
why does he do that to us, man?
Because I think he really wants to, but then he's like...
What do you think? Do you think people talk to him and they're like...
No. I think his wife is sick, I think. And
oh, is she?
I think he's worried about, for some reason, her losing her health care.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Did he talk about that at all?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it. He just said he's not going to run.
Yeah.
It was a today thing.
Yeah, right before, while I was setting up and stuff, you were like, well, Jesse's not going to run. And I was like, oh, fucking great. So I wrote that down. I figured we'd talk about it.
I probably wouldn't have gone that far anyways.
Well, maybe not, but it would have been nice to, you know, like I said on earlier podcasts, have a boat to sail in. You know, what with Bernie's campaign being suspended and the leftist movement, progressive movement kind of not having any direction right now, it would have just been nice to have him, even if it was kind of a failed run and even half-assed run, it would have been nice to keep the juice flowing and just kind of roll with the punches and I don't know, just like keep preaching our message is the main thing. If we had someone running, you know, now there's nobody on the national level that's talking about our issues. I mean, Bernie like still is and stuff and it's still out there, but
yeah, I guess.
But I don't know.
Yeah, it's whatever, dude. We're kind of fucked because Biden's gonna pick such a shitty VP, dude. I just sense it coming.
I'm like excited, kind of, to like hear.
I mean, it'd be funny if it was Hillary Clinton, just because. But it's gonna be like someone boring, dude. Like Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, or it's gonna be. I just sense it.
Oh, really?
Or Amy Klobuchar.
I haven't even heard about her.
Oh yeah, it's.
Them talking about her at all, really.
Corporate media, man. Watch it. They have her on all the time.
Watch it, yeah. No shit. Well, especially after this whole protest thing going on, they're probably. She's a Democrat, then, yeah. Obviously.
I guess by name.
Yeah.
Her dad's like a fucking healthcare tycoon or something like that.
Oh, really? Well, that's how you get to be governor. It's by having ties to big business.
Pretty much. It's fucked up.
Yeah, dude, I would love to see Biden pick Hillary Clinton, though. Like, especially after he had her on, like, that podcast and shit, and then you've seen that picture going around of them, like, hugging or whatever, and she's all, like, that to me felt like a coronation moment, man. And I would just love to see that. Dude, I miss seeing Hillary's fucking smug witch face on the news. Like, in a fucked up way. Like, in a machinistic way. Like, I want it to hurt. If they're gonna fuck Bernie over, I want it to just, like, hurt as bad as possible. You know? So, like, can you just imagine, like, how it would be, like, her picking her, like, obviously, they probably do it remote and shit because of the pandemic and stuff, but if it's, like, later down the line, like just seeing the like big rally like on national TV, and then she comes out with her shit, she's all like, "This is our fight song." Yeah.
I fucking hate it, dude.
I would love to see it. And
I want to see it, but at the same time it's just like, I don't know, it's so depressing.
I know. Well, like I said, I want it to hurt as bad as possible. If we're gonna get fucked, I just really want to get fucked, you know what I mean? Raw dog style. But yeah, I just imagine her like coming out on the stage, and like even like during her speech and shit, like there's like allusions to like, I'm gonna be the first female president, and like, you know, just because we know that we already know how it's gonna turn out with Biden. Like once he picks his VP, and like if he wins the general election, which isn't gonna happen, you know, I could see him stepping down like just a few months in.
I mean, I'd like to. I don't like the prospect that Trump's just getting handed re-election, but I also don't like the aspect, like, if Biden does win, what's that say that we are willing to vote for this senile, corrupt, dumb fuck?
Well, dude.
Like, it just freaks me out overall, like.
Yeah, like, and we've talked about it before where, you know, he's giving that speech, he's like, and the FDR, and the thing, and then everyone's like, yeah.
Dude.
And... Dude, you know, I went over to Matt's last night, and we were like sitting in the hot tub talking and stuff, and we ended up getting onto that subject, and like, and you and I have talked about this, but we were talking about like Biden would be the first deep fake president.
Yeah,
like 100%, because like he can't. Well, dude, I've seen some of the like podcasts.
Even in the deep fakes, they'd probably add a couple fuck ups just because, like.
Yeah. To like have some semblance.
They'd like do a first one like and it'd be like too perfect, and someone would be like, "Nah, it's too unbelievable." Just like you gotta add a fuck up in there.
Yeah, like they maybe like really accentuate like his like lisp or whatever that they say, and then be like, "Oh, sorry guys,
it's not a lisp, it's a stutter." Get it?
Oh, well, fucking facts whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so we were talking about that, and somebody did that deep fake recently of Joe Biden, right? Wasn't that? I thought I read something about like they took something from his podcast or whatever and had him do this like wacky. Have you heard of that?
Oh, I think like, Rogan was talking about. Yeah,
because he's all like and stuff.
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I did hear about that.
I was watching that, and then like, they like pulled a clip of it and stuff, and it's like, dude, you can't tell it's not him, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way to tell. And I'm sure all of you guys have seen
The thing is,
that.
these are just, like, people doing it who kind of know, like, what's the government already have that we don't know about.
Yeah, with their fucking, like, quantum computers or, like, wild-ass shit that can, like, run shit in, like, 300 times 4K to where it looks like fucking reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've all seen the Obama one that was Jordan Peele, like, talking about how deepfakes are a thing. Man, we're living in some wild shit, and I was like talking to Matt. I was like, can you imagine? Like they would just probably like tell Joe that he won because he's like senile and shit. And I was like painting this picture of like they've got him in like a government hospital, and they've like refabricated like a set that's like the Oval Office and like the whole White House, like because they have unlimited money, so they just build this whole like fucking prison/hospital that looks just like the White House, and maybe they have other ones where it's like the Senate building, like all this different shit, and they just really laid on to make him think he's like in this thing.
Meanwhile, he's fucking just in a hospital.
That
would be funny.
And then like, dude, yeah, like, so he's in the Oval Office and stuff, and he's like, let me address the people, and they kind of let him know what's going on, so that, and then he like fucking gets onto, it's like a tablet and shit. All right, Joe. You're live, talk to the American people. And then he just goes and like rambles and shit, and he's like, and then
well, it's like, and that's not even like as far fetched as it should be. That's the problem.
I know, like it could very well be the thing. I don't know if you've you know that Death Stranding game.
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it though.
Where Norman Reedus is like the main character and shit. Well, that's all about, like, there's been this wild, like, time warp shit where the rain, like, ages everything and whatnot. So, like, everything's in the United States has collapsed, but there's, like, still a remnant of the government. Like, the last president's, like, a woman, and her name's Warren, mind you.
Really?
Yeah, which I thought was kind of funny, because it was, like, this came out, like, when she just kind of announced that she was running and shit, or talked about it. But anyway, the last, like, female president, she's, like, essentially catatonic, and she's like in the bed, and then Norman Reedus' character that comes and talks to her, and then she ends up dying, and then like when they come in, the whole like, it turns out the Oval Office, she's in the Oval Office in like a bed, and then the whole like mirage like simulation like, and then she's just in like a room, like a fucking crazy hospital room, and that's like what inspired me to like imagine Joe Biden in like a similar scenario.
Yeah.
And then, like, going on that a little bit, I just picture, like, in one of Joe Biden's, like, lucid moments, he, like, goes down, like, the wrong thing and, like, ends up going into a maintenance room or something. And then it's just, like, a hallway into, like, a fucking, like, clinical ass-looking, like, insane asylum. And he, like, looks through the fucking mirror or the like glass, and there's just like fucking like government officials and like fucking
Jesus
nurses.
Christ.
Yeah, I had a whole fantasy. I was sitting there with Matt, like just smoking a cigar in the hot tub, and it was like,
you're gonna hate me. We're gonna have to cut this
oh
together.
god,
don't leave this in here. I'd be pissed if I found out you uploaded this part.
All right, let's leave it at that. Thanks. I want to put that part in.
What part?
Of us just like, don't put that in, because I don't know why I like doing that.
Okay.
I like leaving a mystery for the viewers.
That makes sense.
It's always so fun. I love when I start the, I don't know how you guys feel, but I love when we start the episodes with like, Johnny's like, don't put that in. I love it, dude. I love it. So, I know I already did a solo video about Ahmaud Arbery and whatnot, and I don't want to talk about it too much, just because if you guys want to hear kind of my thoughts on that and or whatever, you know, you can go check out that video. But yeah, Johnny, you know, this young black man our age was just fucking chased down and then shot and murdered by two fucking white guys, a father and a son. And like, dude, I don't know how you feel about it or whatever. Like, I know you're just as sick as of fucking like police violence against black people and hate crimes and shit as I am. But like, man, you know, just something about this particular case was just like fucked up. Like, I don't know. Did you see that video? Did you happen to watch?
I watched like a clip it.
Yeah.
A news thing, but they like cut out the bad part.
Yeah, obviously.
But like. Yeah, I don't know. And it's fucked up that I'm pretty sure, if I understand correctly, it's the dad and son. The dad's a former cop.
Yeah, and I didn't know that actually until you
Well, and it took like internet outrage to get these guys arrested. It's kind of fucked up.
Well, yeah, and honestly,
not kind of fucked up. It is fucked up.
It's extremely fucked up. And like honestly, that's the main thing I want to like just touch on with this is first off, like, dude, it's wild. It's the year 2020 in America, like probably the most diverse nation on the planet, and like black people are still getting lynched and like killed by police and shit. And I think you probably watched that Joe Rogan thing. He talks about it all the time where he's like, you know, he had this police officer, like former police officer on or something, or watched something about it, and this this police officer was going through files, and he was like, because he was in a bad neighborhood doing this, and there was like the same crimes and the same shit from like the 60s and 70s, and he's like still here in like early 2000s like dealing with it. And it's like, and then this sort of shit, it's like, dude, what the fuck, man? I like, when does it end, and like what do we do? Like, it's just fucking.
I mean, I don't know. You're never gonna be able to fully stop these racist dumbasses, but where it gets like crazy is that they weren't arrested or anything.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, there is things that can be done to ensure that.
Well, dude, I don't know. Laws need to be made that police get punished. I don't know. How hard is it to punish these guys and not just let them get off with their shit? And they're trained to shoot and kill us. Like, why can't they shoot someone in the knee instead of unloading a fucking clip in them when they don't even need to be shooting the guy in the first place?
Dude, how many videos have we seen of the police just going, bah, 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 bah?
Yeah, I watched a video where, like, this guy had a shovel.
No.
And this was actually just like a white trash piece of shit guy, so it wasn't like a black guy that they shot and killed. But
still, it goes beyond just black people, but it disproportionately affects black people.
It's low income people too, though. Like,
yeah.
But you're right, like it does affect black people more. But like they wouldn't do that to a Wall Street banker. That's the point.
No.
But
no, they do that on behalf of the.
But the guy had a shovel. He tased him. It like didn't affect him very well. But like he wasn't near him really, and then he like unloads a clip on him. And it's like, why couldn't you have just shot the guy once? Why do you have to unload your clip because the guy has a shovel? It's shit like that.
There's no reason.
Well, they're trained to.
Yeah.
Because it's a lawsuit or something if you shoot him in the knee.
Oh, yeah.
So you're trained to just unload a fucking clip on him. I don't know. It's...
What the fuck, dude? Thinking about it that way is incredibly fucked up. But that's one of the things I talked about in my solo videos. Like, dude, we need to... One of the big reasons why nobody gets in trouble is because, like, the police union lobbies against this type of legislation that would keep police accountable.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, when they do go through, you know, trials and shit, it's like a police trial, is it not? Like, it's like a fucking... It's not like a normal court of law usually, unless they go through like all these loopholes and someone does a lawsuit, kind of like what you're talking about. It's like the police, like there's like a, almost like, you know, like there's JAG and shit in the military or whatever. It's like the same type of thing, but for police. And the police are just like every single time, like, oh, give him some mental health classes and make him go to therapy for a few months.
Yeah, it's like they should be getting charged for murder.
You know, yeah, exactly.
I don't know, like...
Put them on paid leave.
Until that happens, nothing's going to change.
Well, that's what needs to happen is we need to have civilian tribunals for this shit.
Well, and like who's in charge of like making the laws to make that happen? Would it be like Congress or would it have to be like a governor? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, just like with anything else, like it could be a local thing. Like,
well, we need to change the training. They're being trained to kill us.
Yeah.
Willy-nilly. Like, it's part of their training.
Yeah. Like even over a traffic stop and shit. It's fucking happened, man. Like how many... Dude, you just get... Honestly, like so many people get desensitized to it, but like I don't fully get desensitized to it. Every time I hear about one of these crimes, like a police officer killing a black man or lynching or something like that, every time I hear it, like compounds on itself, and I get more and more sick. Like where it makes me just like kind of want to go into myself and like hang my shoulders, man. And I don't know. The other thing I know I talk a lot about and getting fucking radical, talking about like working class people like need to arm themselves and be organized how they like these fucking right wingers are, and black folks need to do the same thing, man. Like, dude, I don't think Jim Crow laws would have been overcame and we would have got the Civil Rights Act. Maybe we still would have with just like MLK and like the peaceful stuff, but if it weren't for the Black Panthers, man, there would have been way more hate crimes against blacks during that time period because the tensions were amplified. And if it would have been for them showing up with fucking guns and like protecting black businesses from damage and like escorting black people and yada yada yada, I don't think it would have ever happened, man. And then you see like the shit, and I talked about this in the solo video too. You see this shit in Michigan, a bunch of white people showing up, and they're all friendly with the police. Dude, if a bunch of black people would have showed up like that, they would have called the goddamn National Guard, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's
fucking insane, man. But, you know, my fucking heart goes out to, you know, Mr. Arbery's family, and just, I don't know. And I talked a little bit about white privilege, and I know you and I aren't into, like, woke culture and whatnot. But it's a real fucking thing, and I talk about it's not what you think. It's not that you didn't have it hard as a white person in America. Everybody working class has it hard in this country. But you just don't have to deal with that.
Well, and they had to have known he was jogging, dude. You know if someone's running from something or if they're fucking jogging.
Yeah.
And even if he was running from something, it doesn't give you the right to shoot on sight.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I just guarantee he, like, I haven't like, the video was, like, shitty. I haven't fully watched it.
Yeah. But
I guarantee he was not in, like, an outfit that looks weird to be running in. Well, he was in a fucking running gear.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
That's exactly what I talked about in my video. I was like, he's probably in fucking athletic shorts and Under Armour.
Yeah.
Like, and even if he wasn't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter either way. But you just know he was, so it's like it adds to the element
you can tell, like, he's wearing some fucking gear that you go jogging in and shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Well, and you take, like, damn, man, I can't even imagine being in that mindset. And the whole thing happened because apparently somebody called it in. There's a black man running down the street. Like, and those people... The guy was a police officer, which I guess I didn't know. He's probably had his scanner on.
Former police officer.
Well, whatever, was a police officer. And he had his fucking scanner on probably and was like, I'm going to handle this.
Yeah.
Finally a chance to get them blacks out of here.
Yeah.
And, like, you can just see it, and you saw that picture of his father and his son sitting there, and you're like, these are dirtbags.
Yeah. They look like scumbags.
And, dude, you know, talking about police and stuff, I'm like, dude, I know it's a hard job, and I know not all police officers are bad. Like... Just want to fucking put that out there. I know.
Yeah, but when you don't speak up, you're just as bad about the bad. You know what I mean?
That's true. You're fucking complicit in it. But yeah, like talking about shitty police officers and shit. Like, remember when we used to go to the brewery all the time, and there was always that fucking police officer there, like big burly white bald-headed guy. And, like, he was always there drinking, dude.
Yeah, him and his wife at least would have 4 or 5 beers each.
And then he'd drive home.
One of them drives home. Yeah.
Yeah. No problem.
And what would happen if one of us, like, called that in? Which I wouldn't, because I don't know. I don't like to...
Well, whatever.
But if one of us called it in, we would be fucked with, not him.
Exactly.
That would be the thing.
And the thing about that guy, too, is you could just see that he's fucked up and, like, probably beats his wife or something, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you just see in his face he's fucked up because, like, the way he looks at people, he's all like...
Yeah.
Like, I've been in there before, and he just would be, like, staring at me or, like, you or anybody in the room. I've seen him, like, staring at other people all, like...
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
I don't like it, dude. And then you just imagine, like, having to go mano-a-mano with that guy because he's arresting you over some dumb shit. That's the type... Like, you can just see it in his face. That's the type of guy that's going to go pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
And then call it in and be like... Probably has... I mean, and I don't know this guy. Maybe he's a good guy. Like, I don't know.
He doesn't... I don't know, man. The way he looks at everyone, it's weird.
Yeah.
Because you're right. He looks at people like they're all... Like, everyone around him's a criminal.
Exactly.
It's fucking weird.
And then he just, like, always carries a gun around, like an extra one to, like, plant.
Granted, there's so many stupid-ass laws in this country. Everyone probably is a criminal because we're all breaking a law somehow.
Well, you know, it's a trip since we're kind of talking about, like, prejudice against blacks and stuff. If you go into our city, like, codex of laws... There's still a law of, like, East Park, which is, like, the main, like, little park in our town, is, like, still only for white people. Like, that law was, like, never, like... They never fully took it off the books because when the Jim Crow laws were gotten rid of, it just, like, whatever.
Disappeared.
But it's still technically in there. So if you're in our town and you're a black man walking through East Park...
I forgot about that.
You're a goddamn criminal, man. Which is fucked up, technically.
Fucking ridiculous.
There's all kinds of weird ass ones too, man, like that are still in the books, but
yeah, it's weird to think about.
Yeah, America's a fucking wild place, man. Like, I don't even know. Just, you can't enslave an entire race of people and build your country with it and then, like, expect these problems to be gone overnight.
Well, and then just, like, release the slaves but do nothing to, like, properly... They just fucking
assimilate them into actual
It was
society.
the dumbest thing because there was like plans to actually like assimilate them, right? And then the fucking whatever
And then
they took.
Powed fucking Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because dude, America, the history of America would have probably been there's times in history where things would have been a lot different if a leader would have lived. Like we've talked about if FDR would have lived through one more term, or if Henry Wallace would have been allowed to be the VP. Like how our relationship with Russia might have been way different. There might have never even been a Cold War. But there's Abraham Lincoln's another example where like if he wouldn't have been killed, they had a whole regimen of things like, because this was of Reconstruction, and it still continued until 1877, but it just didn't get to where it was going to be. But like Abraham Lincoln and his cabinet and all the people that were pushing for this stuff, they were like, there was a small window of time where there was like, because there were so many black people in the South, they were getting black people into like state governments and local governments and on the federal level. Like you can see pictures of like all these black folks from that time period like in positions of power. And then there was like the carpetbaggers and stuff, and they were really going to reform the southern states and like give black people a leg up and all of this shit. And then when he was killed and they couldn't get their shit together and there was division in the Republican Party, that's when the Jim Crow Democrats started to really form. And they like took the power back from the black people down there and established all those Jim Crow laws. And one of the things they did, even when Abraham Lincoln was alive, but they like really amped it up. And you've heard about this, like, dude, black people have never been free and fully in this country, like, because we still have mass incarceration. Imagine this shit: you're a black American in the South, and you're seeing like some politician, like you're like, holy shit, like, not only am I free now, like they're actually going to do some shit to make it better. Mm-hmm. And then they started the vagrancy laws in the South, which is like if you didn't have a job and you were just like kind of hanging around, you could be arrested. And they didn't do that obviously with poor white Southerners, but they literally, so all these millions of slaves got released and made freed men, and then like months later the police rounded them all up, like hundreds of thousands of them. And that's like still to this day, if you're in the rural areas, all of the fucking like irrigation ditches and fucking runoff ditches and gravel roads and shit were built by like reincarcerated black slaves back then.
Jesus.
And then going on through, they were maintained through the 60s and probably even 70s by black people that were. And then
that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, man. Like, and then you get to modern day with like for-profit prisons and shit and the war on drugs. It's like, it's better than being fucking a slave or a sharecropper, I guess, but you're still a fucking slave, only now you're like stitching together pantyhose and shit for Victoria's Secret or stamping license plates. You know? Fucking wild, man. But yeah, getting into the next thing here, God, we already kind of talked shit about Joe Biden, but there's just so much to talk shit about. Have you watched that fucking the celebrity cringe video with Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Man, where he had fucking
legitimately cringe.
What happened in it?
I don't even know.
Because it was his podcast, right?
I guess.
That's
how
what
he
they
has a
call it.
podcast is fucking crazy.
No.
So I don't think he speaks all that long in it. That's what's fucking
No, he
crazy.
just like lets other people talk. But that whole, so Joe Biden has this podcast. You know, that's where, you know, quote unquote, that's where he had Hillary Clinton on and shit. And then he fucking has had celebrities on, I guess. He had not Jordan Peele, Keegan Michael Key is his name, right?
Yeah,
that
sounds right.
Yeah, and they're on there just like eating a fucking like dinner together and shit, and like I don't know,
dude. And it was like scripted as fuck. It is super cringe,
dude. You can even see in Keegan Michael's Keel face.
What, dude? Why? I don't know, man. Why are these people? They look so cringy trying to help Biden get elected, dude. It's just everyone's gonna remember how you tried to help this senile dumb fuck. You shouldn't even be the nominee. Like, everyone's gonna always remember that you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
It just looks so bad, dude.
Yeah, what are you thinking, man? Well, with him, here's the thing. When I watched it, here's the thing that I got a couple of things. Is one, I could see the desperation in Keegan Michael Keel's eyes because his career like isn't where it should be, and he's funny, and I like him and shit. Like, there's no reason why his career couldn't be better. I don't know. It's just how the cookie crumbles. But you can see the desperation like in his eyes. of like, I need this. You know, like he needs like people to like remember him or like get engaged with him again. And this was not the right choice, dude. And you can just see even on his face too, like while they're eating and doing all this shit, he's just like, oh my god, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be. You know, he's like, fuck. You can just tell he's like, I made a mistake.
Well, dude, I just don't know how Biden can be the nominated. Like, I just, it's like every day there's something.
I know it, man. And I just, that whole thing was so hilarious, and the key point in it is like, and you guys should go and watch it if you haven't seen it yet, but Joe Biden's like, I always start with dessert and shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my god, dude. And I could, and he has a fucking fetish with ice cream, and I just do see, beyond loving little children, violating fucking...
I mean, I believe he likes ice cream. That's not a lie, I don't think. I really, truly believe Joe Biden eats ice cream a lot.
Yeah, dude, no. And like what I'm trying to say is, like, beyond enjoying little girls and sexually assaulting young women, he really enjoys his frozen desserts, you know? So, and I'll get a little dark here, but after a good day of molestation at one of John Podesta's parties around Epstein's Island, he's like, where's the ice cream, boys? It's fucked up, dude. So, yeah, and you know what? I know the underdog is probably watching this, and he was talking shit about us, just constantly ragging on Joe Biden. But, bro, there's so much to rag on.
Dude, we have to, man. It's just...
It's got to happen. And you're going to have to deal with it for a little while longer, underdog.
Until they replace him, hopefully. Like, you know, I just... Like, I'll never vote for whoever they replace him with unless it's somehow Bernie, which it ain't going to be.
Yeah.
But, like... How can't they, dude? Because even, like, the base of the party that...
Replace him in general?
Yeah, because, like, they have... Dude, he's just so bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's next level bad. And you're adding the sexual assault allegation, which he went on and gave a cringy defense on MSNBC. It was just cringy as fuck.
God, dude. You just wonder, like, dude, is it a simulation, Johnny? My God. Like, it has to be, man.
It's a shitty ass... Why can't we be in this, like, simulation where everything's, like, epic?
Why can't we be in a simulation that's like World of Warcraft and we're all, like casting spells?
Yeah,
and,
that's
like,
the simulation I want to be
taking
in.
on the Burning Legion and, like, saving the fucking world. But no, it's like... It's a shitty simulation on planet Earth, and the laws of physics are like fucking, you know, a matter of fact, and nothing grandiose ever happens. But not only that, the whole thing's shitty.
Yeah.
You know? At first, you start the game, and just like when you start any game, you're like really in awe of it.
And all the motivational leaders get fucking killed.
Yeah. But like even starting at like a young age, man, like anytime you start a new game, you're like, wow, like this is cool, and you're like, you got the wonder, trees are beautiful, graphics are great and shit. That's what it's like being a kid. And then you get to your mid levels, and you're like, oh, it's still kind of great. I could be a high level character, and nah. And then you get to like the higher levels, and you're like, wow, this sucks dick.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and then you just get bitter, and then you realize they're gonna fucking kill Bernie Sanders, and they already killed Martin Luther King, and then you go to your fucking convenience store job, and every night you pick up a 6-pack and go home.
Pretty much. It's pretty much what's...
Yeah, that's what it fucking feels like. Anyway, sorry, that was depressing, but I guess
depressing times, really.
It is. I guess a little bit of good news, if you want to call it that. I mean, they reinstated the New York primary, which is, I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter, but
well, I mean, it just shows, like, why even do it in the first place? Like, try to cancel it, and they're still trying to fucking... Yeah,
that one...
They're like, the attorney general or whatever is still trying to overturn it. Like, why? You're just trying to piss people off.
Yeah.
But it's hard to give a fuck, because Bernie shouldn't have dropped out anyways. He should have stayed into the convention. Yeah. So it's hard for me to even give a fuck. Just fucking end it already, then.
Yeah.
I don't...
But it still isn't... Yeah, and then again, there isn't even fucking democracy in this country at all anyway. And how weird was it that fucking Andrew Yang was the one that, like, brought this, like, forward? Like, I just don't know what to, like, think and feel about him. I don't know what to think and feel about all of our quote-unquote progressive leaders. I don't even know if I want to lump him in there with them, but, like...
I wouldn't. He's not... I don't know. He's more libertarian, really.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just weird. Like, I don't... What's up with this? And then we talked on an earlier episode about him, like, seemingly, like, through his tweets and stuff, having, like, regrets about endorsing Biden, and then now he does this.
Dude,
It's like, what's is he trying to just salvage his career politically? Does he plan on maybe running again at some point?
I don't know. He never should have endorsed Biden like he did. It's like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah. It's
literally like Moloch appeared from the fucking depths of hell and got all these people personally. He was to like vote.
And Bernie's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then he fucking some crazy ass shit in Latin, and then pretty much.
It's what it seems like, man, because a lot of these endorsements don't even make sense. The fucking Yang endorsement, it kind of made sense because it was like right at the crucial time to like cement in the stake of fucking Bernie, like.
Yeah, in that sense, it's just all it wants.
Tulsi's like made no sense.
Yeah,
it just made her look bad.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's like almost like these endorsements are purposely to make these fucking people look bad. Like even with Bernie, like his endorsement, it just has made him look terrible.
Yeah, it really feels like a coordinated.
Some people are pissed at me now for like, I'm not bashing Bernie, but it's just like, dude.
No, we got to call it when we see it, though,
and it's over, man. He ran. This campaign was pointless. That's what I think at this point.
Yeah.
What has it done? He's not harnessing us to do anything. It's just what.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens. I don't know, Johnny. I don't know. Maybe we can. I mean, the hope is still there, and like we talked about on the earlier.
Not me.
No. Not on that level. But I mean, the hope is still there that we can take our fucking city governments and our state governments and shit. Like, dude, the only way we're ever going to establish full power at the federal level is if we have a strong enough correlation at the base where it's like...
Yeah.
Because, dude, like, that can happen. That actually can happen. Where imagine, like... And we talked about this before, but, like, there's tens of thousands of mayors, big and small, that are, like, progressive. There's thousands and thousands of seats in state houses that are progressive. Maybe we could win a couple governors, like that could happen. Then you have enough, and then you couple that with the stuff that Bernie has done of like creating dissent in the Democratic Party, and then more progressives than that. Like you can actually get shit done. We're never gonna get the whole cake. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know if we're gonna get a fucking slice, dude. I've just become so disillusioned with all this, and I'm sure as time goes on, I'll get out of the funk. But
it's hard to not be in right now.
Like, dude, I don't know, because even at the local level, I'm trying to think how here locally we would do it. You just got so many dumbasses still, even at the local level. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like I said, we're not gonna get the whole cake.
And I'm just in a negative mindset right now.
Yeah. But we're not going to get the slice, though, even, unless we do the shit that we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. But I firmly do believe we'll probably never get the whole cake unless we do that big fucking general strike, shut the shit down, you know, the fucking...
Which is what Bernie should be harnessing us right now to do. That's why I'm, like, so pissed. He's not... I don't know, man.
He should be calling for a general... Like, dude, yeah.
He gave up, dude. The guy gave up.
Yeah.
Don't fucking sugarcoat it.
Yeah. No, there is no sugarcoat.
Sick of people being, like, sycophants, dude.
That's your fucking word of the week. It's a good,
it's true.
A good use of it, though.
Quit being a fucking sycophant with these people, dude. When they fucking let us down, don't fucking make excuses for them.
Don't lick their buttholes.
And yeah, he probably was threatened and shit. But it still... doesn't change the fact he's not doing what he should be doing as a leader.
It doesn't change the fact. But yeah, just sort of like a huge, massive, like, general strike and, like, armed fucking resistance, and, like, the truckers, like, parking their goddamn trucks on the interstates with rifles and shotguns. We'll never get the whole cake, but we can get a fucking slice. I do believe that with the right pressures and the sort of things I'm talking about, like, we could get Medicare for all. It might be a slightly shitty version. Like, you know how, like, there's different spectrums of it, and, like, some country... They all have some form of it. Some are better than others. Like, we could get... And it's, like, grasping at straws here, I know, but, like, we could get a kind of poopy version of M4A.
So that's what pisses me off. Like, dude, how haven't we already? Like, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, how didn't... Yeah. And
like, even if I was, like, one of these elites... it's like they want everything to tank, dude. I don't understand.
Yeah, man. Fucking, and speaking on the subject of, like, general strike and shit, I wanted to fucking read this to you. I sent it to you. I don't know if you read it, but, I don't know. It looks like this was on Reddit. Yeah, this was on Reddit, okay? This was a guy who made a post on Reddit in legal advice. Okay? And the thread is titled, "Talked about unionizing and manager threatened me with a gun," parentheses, Arkansas. All right, I'm going to read this for you guys, just since we're on the subject of like civil disobedience and a general strike. "I am a cashier at a large retailer. Anyway, it was a slow period, Monday late morning, so my coworker and I were kind of sitting around talking and complaining about the fact that we weren't getting enough hours and had to start doing other things to make ends meet. I had to start a business selling stuff on eBay, and he started driving for Uber. Then I mentioned that if we had a union, this wouldn't happen, because my neighbor who works at a redacted name of grocery store is guaranteed a certain amount of hours due to the contract. About an hour later, I got called into the office by one of the managers who said that complaining about working conditions while on the clock is not appropriate and unprofessional when customers might hear. Fair enough. I apologized and left. He said he would talk to the store manager and decide if I would get a write-up."
Seriously?
It gets worse, dude. It gets way worse. 3 days later, I was doing the closing shift. I left the store after midnight, and as I was walking to my car, the store manager stopped me in the parking lot and told me that discussing unions is against policy and I would be fired. I told him I just want to go home and can we talk tomorrow. He grabbed my arm, said, "I have a gun and I know how to use it," and then berated me for talking about unions and said that if I did it again, I would be sorry and my family would miss me a bunch of other stuff that I forgot. Then he went back into the store and I left.
I mean, if that's a true story, that's beyond next level.
I think it is true. So like, there's no way to tell 100%, but the fact that it's not even on a leftist thread or anything, it's on a legal advice forum on Reddit.
I mean, you just got threatened. Yeah, that's an open threat, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fucked
Thing is,
up.
have fun taking on a store manager who's probably makes how much a year and you don't make shit.
Well, here's the thing about it, though. He ain't like the store director. He ain't the franchise owner. He's just a manager, man. And the one thing I've learned working in retail for some time, and you too, probably working in food services, managers aren't dick. Really. All they are is bootlickers of the owners of the shit that get paid a little bit more to fucking make out and give tongue to the goddamn leather boot. Like, that's all they are.
And it's like, everyone's so disenfranchised. Like, if you bring up a union at all, people just have this look of like, yeah, right. When it's like, it wouldn't be that hard to fucking all be like, let's go do something. That's why they nip it in the butt, because if they hear an employee talking about it, that's how that shit sparks.
Yeah.
Because, like, really, all it takes is everyone being like, yeah, it wouldn't be that fucking hard to, like, all walk out. Because it's pretty fucking easy to do.
And there's still laws where, like, you don't even necessarily have to do a walkout. You can just, like, get in contact with the union, like, whatever it is, the Boilermakers, the Retail Service and Helpers Union, and they will come in and off the property where people come in, they'll hand out flyers, and they'll do, like, a picket line that doesn't have teeth. And then they will like set up like at a hotel conference room or something, like a place to meet and talk about it. And then after a certain amount of time, like, and maybe they can get around this and shit, I don't know, but they have to call a vote. You know what I mean? If you get a certain number, and then it's up to you to go around and get union cards signed. But if you have like a third of the people or more, maybe it's half that sign union cards, then they have to do a vote on that area, allowing the people to join a union. And that's how it works, and that's how it was in my experience of trying to organize and shit. And it's different in every state, man, but like here in Iowa, man, the people are, like you were saying, so disenfranchised and shut down. And it's even worse than that, because the majority are like how you talk about. Like, it'll never, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's even more that are like deep down bootlickers.
Yeah.
Like, where I had a discussion with one lady, I was working at Hy-Vee or something, like helped her with her groceries out to her car or something, or I was out smoking, I don't remember exactly, but she was talking about how her son drives for Hy-Vee as a trucker, and she was just like really proud, talking about all of his achievements, and she's like, and he didn't join any of the unions, and I'm really proud of him for that. And it's because, dude, they fucking really succeeded in the 70s and 80s of, like, portraying and, dude, you know what? It's partially the union leaders' fault with, like, Jimmy Hoffa and all these people getting roped in with the mob and, like, dirty fucking money.
Well, and I will say I have an uncle who does, like, construction on, like, I don't know what the fuck he does, like, skyscrapers and shit. Mm-hmm. And he's not part of a union. And the thing is, if he was part of a union, they'd limit how many hours he could work. And they start to get over-regulatory, and then workers get pissed because you fuck with what they want to be doing. Like, they want to be able to work as long as they want, make overtime pay and shit. So I do understand not liking unions sometimes because they fucking start... all these rules form with a union, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of understand that aspect in certain jobs. It's weird, like, I don't know.
But again, and here's the thing that people need to understand, like, with unions, it's just like anything else. You gotta vote for your union rep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you got a state house full of fucking cocksuckers that are against your interests, and then you're all like, well, but you didn't vote, and then you're like, and you're upset, it's like, fuck you. It's the same thing with your union rep, because, like, somebody in your local 501 or whatever is like, you know, there's already an incumbent guy, and maybe he wants, like, all these different things for the new contract that comes up at the end of the year and a half. And then, you know, you, even as a worker or your friend, could run and be like, I don't want the fucking overtime limitations. Or maybe we'll have an overtime limitation of, like, this amount. And then they can, like, compromise. And then you can run. But if you don't show out and vote and then bitch about your union contract, or if you don't run yourself as a union rep, then, like... And the bottom line is like, you're going to end up a lot better off with a fucking union most of the time than you are not, you know?
Yeah, I agree, but I just see the other side's argument a little bit.
No, yeah, I totally get it, man, but it's just people, they really succeeded when they broke up the unions, and then the fucking mass propaganda message.
That's the thing, there's just bad. Everything in this fucking country is disinformation and bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just so annoying, dude.
You know, I can't...
Like, I just want honest discourse, and that's just never going to happen because everything's been so muddy.
And then you throw that divisiveness in there that's created by the fucking misinformation and shit, and it's like, nah. We are nowhere near having our shit together.
No.
Not even remotely close.
No. And how's it going to happen when we don't even... We don't even have a real understanding of history, dude, because it's all written by the propagandist bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, and our kids are being raised in elementary, like, in schools, public schools, to, like, the shit they read about the Iraq War and shit. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, and we talked about that before, and it's... Yeah, you know, I saw this meme, like, just inadvertently, like, scrolling through Facebook and shit, and it was, like, a tweet or something, and the guy was like, kind of funny how the good guys won every war.
Yeah.
It's weird. And just the way it was put, I was like, oh...
Yeah, like, if the Nazis had won, history would look a lot different about the Nazis.
Yeah, they talk about...
They'd be heroes.
You know what they do? Yeah, exactly. They talk about fucking America was a government ran by gangsters and like this, which, like... The Nazis were wrong about a lot of shit, but they weren't entirely wrong about that.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's kind of true. Like, even back then, it was a bunch of, like, business moguls and shit. And, like, what is a business mogul but a legal gangster?
Yeah. Really,
with a cartel syndicate. Like, they even used to call them cartels back in the day. The fucking paper cartel, the meat cartel, like... So it's, like, the same exact thing. All these industries are just big rackets, and then the leaders of the rackets, the gangsters, run the government. So, yeah, it'd be a way different fucking thing. I don't know if you've watched that show, The Man in the High Castle, at all.
A little bit. The first season I did.
Yeah. I wish I would have got into it more, but the world that they painted was, like, really interesting. So
I liked it, but I wanted more, like... There's a little too much of, like... And it would probably be, like, the Japanese would be... There's a little too much Japanese stuff, though, and I just wanted more, like, Nazis in control.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
there was something missing to it. I liked the concept, but it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, and that's how I felt too. But like that, just still that whole world of like they've pretty much taken over everything, and like the fucking it's like a new Cold War. Like you can just imagine. It's just fun to talk about this because you can imagine how shit could have been way different. And there's like this new Cold War where like Japan owns like pretty much all of Asia, and then they came to a treaty with the Nazis where they own like all the West Coast and Canada and shit, and then on the other side the Nazis own all the continental US and like and it's crazy because like the fucking Nazis are like way technologically advanced, and then like the fucking Japanese are like lagging behind, and like all the people in that government can like see like, yeah, like we're gonna fucking end up losing this in the end. And it was just kind of a wild universe, and it's just insane. And then like Wolfenstein, like the remakes of Wolfenstein were really interesting too, because it's all about like resisting that shit.
Yeah,
pretty awesome. But I guess the last thing I want to talk about, since we kind of ended up going more of like a labor route on the show today, is what do you think about this Amazon vice president resigning from the company? And then
I mean, everyone's got a breaking point of how sociopathic they can be, and obviously
that's not true.
No, but any normal people, like, I feel like a lot of people are willing to do some fucked up sociopathic shit while not even actually being sociopaths because they're making all that money.
Yeah.
So it's more so the greed is taking over.
Yeah. You like compartmentalize.
I feel like this guy just realized he's already rich as fuck, and he's just like, wow, we're fucked up.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I just imagine this guy, like, he kind of did all these things, and like he is for the company, and it's a good job, and then he just finally like had a moment where he woke up or something and was like, dude, I'm not gonna be a part of this anymore. Like, it's not fucking worth it. And that's a good sign in a sense of like it.
Yeah, but he's just instantly replaced by probably a far worse person.
But not just him. We've heard other people that are like, well-to-do or even in the business world that are like kind of waking up to this shit of like, dog, I'm all for corporatism and like business and whatever, but like we were reaching a point now where this is like sick. And not only is it sick, but the fucking system's like devouring itself.
It's not sustainable, yeah.
Yeah, they're just realizing like, dude, no, it's like, okay, I'm all good for business and economy, but like this ain't gonna work, dude. We're treating Americans, our fellow Americans, like fucking slaves, And like I hope more people like this wake up.
I don't think a lot of these people really even consider themselves Americans at this point, because they can go wherever they want in the world. They probably own fucking mansions in other parts of the world.
True.
I just don't think they view all of humanity as something they don't really I don't think they're loyal to any country. That's the thing.
They're part of that fucking culture and the elitist shit, and like everything else is just like
when you can go to your fucking castle in France, do you really feel like an American?
That day I'm a Frenchman.
Well, exactly though. Like, are you really an American at this point when you're doing that type of shit?
Yeah, or you can just sail around on your yacht and you got a house in like every.
And you own a factory in China where fucking people are jumping off the building.
And you got lots of business friends and shit there too. So
and you just view them as whatever. You're really gonna view Americans any different?
Yeah.
If anything, you're mad because the Americans you have to treat nicer.
Yeah. You just blew my fucking mind. That's fucked up. Yeah, because I just like got a little window into their brain a little bit. Damn, man. Yeah. Fucking. I guess one last thing actually is you heard about Elon Musk's new baby. Yeah,
what's the name again?
It's
like AE12 or some shit.
Yeah, apparently I was watching the AE thing is pronounced Ash, so it's like X Ash A12 Musk. I don't know why.
It's just kind of fucked because it's like I feel like he did it for the headlines in a weird way.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that kid's gonna be like, "Why the fuck did you name me this?"
They'll probably end up just calling him Ash.
Yeah, it's gonna be something.
But then like the girlfriend is all about like not gendering the guy, and it's just like I don't get like.
I mean, at least this girlfriend seems better than the fucking one Have you ever seen the sad video of Elon Musk? Like, it's sad. Like his girlfriend's like berating him.
Oh.
And he just like, I don't know, dude. His house, dude, looks hectic and bad as fuck. He's got like 10 kids running around like.
Wait, did he adopt or
dude, not 10 kids, literally. He has a lot of kids, dude. He has like 4 or 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know this.
Dude, and he's been married like 2 or 3 times. Like this guy just has kids, gets married. Well, I feel like he's kind of like a not very good dad. He can't be because he's not around. He
probably wants to be, but obviously he has. I don't want to say he's on the spectrum, right? But he's just like not like everybody else. So it's hard for him to connect.
And I feel like he's got a lot of nannies raising their. I don't know.
So like already off the bat, it's hard for him to connect to other people on a regular level because his brain's just like right. And then he's so busy with his shit. Like there's just and I don't. I don't like billionaires and shit, but like I can't shake the feeling that he's like not a bad guy, and I don't think he's some evil I just really don't.
No, but it's like if I was someone like him, I wouldn't be going after supermodels and shit. Like You would think he'd
brother,
want
he's a man still.
But you would think he'd want a woman who's like gonna have a stable home for his shit. But instead, he just goes after these women. And I don't know much about the current woman.
Yeah.
But the other one, at least.
But then again, it's like I said, he has a problem. He seriously, like clearly, and it's weird. You can see that he's gotten better. Like even from like I watched the new Joe Rogan interview. Like you can tell he interacts with other people way better now. It's weird to see. But like again, he ends up with these women because he has such a hard time making connections with people. I assume that at the end of the day, he just ends up he's probably lonely, and then ends up with like, and they're beautiful and probably treated nice at first, and then kind of gets taken advantage of a little bit. And have you seen his like Twitter shitstorm recently?
I like heard something about it, but
he's like talking about giving away like pretty much all of his worldly possessions. Like he's trying to sell Gene Wilder's house that he lives in.
Why?
He was talking about it on Joe Rogan. He's just like, I just don't want people to attack me for like being a billionaire and this and that. Like he's like, I just want to get rid of all my shit. Like I don't need it. And he's talking about like we were trying to like remodel a house or like build a house or something, and then he's like, I just realized that wasn't a good use of time. Like just like
the way he like talks about shit, dude, he's not like us.
I just don't and look, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I've fallen for the like super genius like act, but I don't feel like he's a bad guy.
I don't feel like he's this evil fucking being like some of these fucks, but I do think he's willing. He doesn't want unions and shit.
Yeah, that's
like
the thing.
Like he's capitalist, like he wants fucking certain things so he can. Yeah. And I don't know if that shit makes you evil all the time you do it, but it makes you not part of the working class, like labor. I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm not sitting here trying to beat him off. I just mean like as far as billionaires and shit.
But I don't think he's fucking at the fucking George meetings Soros, with the torches.
Fucking psycho. Yeah.
Thing is, and if he is, I feel like he's like interesting. Like he's not there like part of it. He's just.
Dude, I want to see that, dude. That's awesome. That's so awesome. I just imagine he's at one of those spirit cooking dinners that we're gonna talk about on the MK Ultra episode. And he's just like, humans are strange.
He's like, it's kind of like Catholicism, but weirder.
Yeah, just like you remember that show Bones.
Yeah.
Like how she was. I just imagine it's the same thing. I love that show. Was kind of gimmicky, but it was like good for the time period. But I don't remember anything from it. But the one thing I remember, this one episode, she gets like introduced to rap music, and she's like listening to it and shit, and she's like, it's so tribal. And I did.
See, I never really watched that show.
I remember being like 14 or something.
Is she like a genius or something?
Yeah. And I just remember being like, what the fuck did she just say? And I don't feel like you could. And she doesn't mean it in a bad way and shit. And like obviously it is tribal.
Yeah.
It that music came here from Africa, and then it transformed into jazz and blues, and then it but if she said something like that on a TV show now,
they'd never let it.
It'd be a shitstorm. Oh, that's a little much.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we did about an hour here. Maybe not quite, but I got to get on the road. I'm going to go visit my girlfriend today, pick up my kid and stuff. So, yeah, we're going to wrap this son of a bitch up. Guys, again, thank you so much to our thank you to our subscribers. Thanks for helping us grow. Thank you to our patrons for pushing us over that $100 a month goal. We're at $106 a month. Guys, we're going to be releasing MK Ultra and its effects on mass media in the modern day. Patreon exclusive episode. If you want to watch it, it's only $3. It's at the $3 tier, $3 a month, less than what you spend on coffee every day. If all you guys come and join us and watch that show at $3 a month, we'll be at like $300, $400. No problem. So if you guys can do that, I seriously appreciate it. That will take us seriously to the next level, because that's 2 days more. I'll be working part-time at that point, and we'll be doing way more content, way more shit, way more interviews, over fucking Zoom interviews, all that shit. It's coming, dude. We just need a little more help, a little more push to get there. So if you guys can find it in yourselves to do that, I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that watches the show. Just thank you, everybody, guys. Seriously. And as always, it's been great hanging out with you. We'll see you next week, all right? Bye.
If the stars were lined up, taking the divine need to time it by.